the Dukes weren't hazardous. She's only 17, made us curious. It was a carefree time. How about we jump back and rewind? We were living on Winger and a prayer, just garbage pail kids with mullets and big hair. Let's open up another pack. Gen X wants their future back. Break out the denim jackets and faded band patches. Share memories, Polaroid captured. It's the Gen X marks the spot porches.
Welcome, everyone, to the Gen X Marks the Spot podcast. I am your host, Joe Augustine. With me, my co-host,
Eddie Adam.
Eddie Adam. Oh, all right. Well, hey, you were going to introduce yourself. I was going to do that for you, but why not? Special
Yeah.
guest with us today, Tony Montana, former bassist for the band Great White.
Yeah.
You were there during the height of their career, and I believe it was, 87 through 92?
Yes.
Your
You're-
love for music started, I guess, when you were a little bit younger. I started to play guitar about the age of 8.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I've been one of those. I was one of those kids that just, anything I could pick up and make noise with, I would do that, and try to make some sense out of it,
I see some of your influences were Elvis, Little Richard, going
Oh,
way
yeah.
back.
Yeah. Well, my parents, were, I guess, older, and they weren't rock and roll people really. So they didn't have any of those kind of records. They just had a bunch of, Elvis and, old like 50s-ish kind of records. And, as a kid, that's what you find. And Elvis, absolutely. That was, the thing. As soon as I heard any of those grooving, those Elvis songs that groove in, like Little Sister, his latest Flame, that's another good one. Like really like where the rhythm section is just bouncing, Good stuff, man. It's all great.
Oh, absolutely. I know my mother, she was a huge Elvis Presley fan.
That's the spark, man. I mean, all the guys that we end up, fashioning a lot of our career after, or style after, or our love of playing, music, rock, those guys were all influenced by those cats too. I mean, Zeppelin and the Stones and all those guys are, I mean, Elvis is there. That's like their god, Makes sense.
How did you get into the rock scene?
Oh gosh. Well, you start getting influenced by other kids and other people. And I had it sounds kind of pretentious, but I had a nanny as a kid, and she was there every day, every morning. Young girl, she's about 15, 16 years old, and the first thing she did when she came in is put on a bunch of records. She put on Elton John and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and just a bunch of current, at least at that time, current, rock hits, and then I found, actually by accident, my parents had accidentally gotten an 8-track of Led Zeppelin 3,
Oh, wow.
and I absolutely wore that thing out. I wore it out. I knew every note of that whole, and it's still my favorite Zeppelin album. It really is.
I grew up on like Foreigner, old AC/DC, like the Bon Scott era,
Oh yeah, well, pretty good.
Skinnerd. My
Oh,
cousins
yeah.
were the ones. My cousins were the ones that introduced me to rock. My mother was, of course, Elvis Presley, and my dad, he was into old country. So
Oh, I
I
got
had, like-
plenty of that in my life for sure. A
I
lot of
think we all did.
lot of country music, a lot of old country too. I mean, old stuff too, man.
I like the
Yeah.
older country better than the newer country.
Oh yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a-
for sure.
So, playing guitar about the age of 8, did it take you a long time to learn to play, or is it something you picked up right away?
Just kind of, well, I've self-taught since then. I guess I just, my friends show me a couple of chords here and there, and that's how you get started. And my friends were taking like proper guitar lessons, and they bring home their homework, and I just, pick up on that. So yeah, the basic things, the basic chords and stuff, and then you start going, oh, how do they do these fast, guitar parts, like these solos, or yeah, it was such a mystery. It's like I got to figure out how do you do that? So that was the quest, and still the quest, right? Like it's still, we're always trying to get better, always trying to stay, keep your chops up, and invent something new, come up with something cool. It never ends. It's like a Rubik's cube fucking thing.
Well, you must have taught yourself very well. You made it to the show, and if I'm wrong on this, please correct me. You started playing guitar on the Sunset Strip about the age of 15.
That's correct. Yeah. We already had several years, in as, practicing and trying to rehearse and be players and stuff. And yeah, by that time I'd already, had some gigs under my belt, and some backyard parties, some kegers. That's what we used to do, man. I can't even imagine how that works these days, you know.
Well, it's a different time for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bunch of kids go find a way to buy some kegs and charge $1 at the gate, at the back gate. Man, it was some crazy shit. Fun. I mean, and just to let you know, I mean, Jack Russell and those other guys well, at least Jack and Mark Kendall and Audie Desbro, all of them came up in that same kind of dynamic, like we all grew up and played in the San Gabriel Valley in California, Southern California. And that's how a band got started. You start playing backyard kegger parties, and it's just nothing, man, all kinds of fun. Good Lord. All kinds of trouble, all kinds of fun.
Speaking of those guys, I have to say that Call It Rock and Roll, which I know you're credited with writing, one of my all-time favorites. Not just
Oh,
Great
nice.
White, but absolutely, it's like it's self-explanatory, almost.
Yeah.
It's one of those songs that's got a catchy groove, and just Jack's vocals on that. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
sure. Yeah, man. Absolutely blessed to have been in that circle of guys at that time, and having the opportunity to expose, your writing and your craft in that way. Yeah, it was cool, man. It was super cool. And funny, it's amongst the guys in the band, I'll tell you straight out, they don't hold that song in very high esteem. The
Hmm.
other guys don't even play it. But the other day, I got a list of the highest streaming songs on Spotify for Great White, and Call It Rock and Roll is number 4, which just blows my mind. It blew my mind. So
Uh,
there you go. There, the proof is in the pudding and the years, and what actually Spotify, I would say, is probably representative of a younger demographic of people. So that song seems to resonate with, it's got some legs, which is cool, man.
Absolutely. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not surprised it's up there. I'm not surprised because I love that song.
I was surprised. It's nice. It's a nice surprise, right?
Yeah,
Hopefully I'll get my $50 check for the 10 million streams.
well, for me, it stands the test of time.
Take that. Appreciate that. Yeah.
That's not a problem. You're very much welcome. Now, correct me if I'm
Right,
wrong.
right.
You also have writing credits for Mr. Bone too.
Yeah. That was a fun one. They got more than they bargained for with me. I think at first, I was just kind of a guy who got hired because I had the same hair as the guy that was before, you know. But I came in with I definitely wanted to contribute. And I certainly didn't want to be the reason that the band didn't do as well as it did before. Want to make sure we did better, and came in and try to bring a little of my own spice to the meal.
And you definitely did that. Now,
Yeah, I was actually a Great White fan myself before I even got in the band. 15 or whatever, playing and done strip and stuff. 16, 17, right around there. I started hearing about them, and they had their first EP out, which was a 5-song EP produced by Don Dokken. And all of my friends, we had that record, and I still love those tracks. I used to bug Jack to do some of those old songs too, and he would he wasn't crazy about doing it, but he did. Eventually he relented, and we used to do like Street Killer. No, I think we do No Way. I don't know if we did No Way. But anyways, great songs. I love those initial tracks.
What I want to ask you is, when you left Great White in 1992,
Hmm.
I've heard so many, I don't want to say versions, but just reading articles and such, that it was you that wanted to move on, and then I heard that they had let you go, and I really truly don't know what had happened. If that's something you would want to, talk about.
You know, at the end of the day, I was obviously unhappy, and unhappy for a lot of reasons that didn't have anything to do with the band. It just wasn't, the spark wasn't there anymore. You know what I mean? And I was a young guy, and idealistic guy, and so I thought, if this doesn't feel like it's my, like I'm giving my all, or that I'm 100% behind this, then then I don't think I should be doing it. And in retrospect, they saw that. This is particularly the manager, Alan. He could see that I just was itching to go and do something else, whatever that was. And what it ended up being is me, getting married. I got married, had family, changed careers, tried to be an entrepreneur, tried to do all kinds of stuff. Ultimately, it was their decision to say, it's time for you to go, man. Obviously your head's not in this, and I respect that.
You had a 10-year sort of hiatus. I believe you were still working in the music industry doing production and behind the scenes work.
A little bit. I decided I wanted to be I wanted to start scoring and writing music in that way, and particularly for video games at the time. It was pretty weak aspect of video gaming at that time. I mean, this is a long time ago. So yeah, I thought, what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to start going and present myself to all these different, companies, Electronic Arts or whoever it was at the time. And I really tried to make some inroads. I did some commercial music, no video games. And that just didn't work out, as an entrepreneurial endeavor. It just didn't work out. So I started doing other things, got involved in technology, software, developed some software, and just kept trying to find my way in high tech. And that's another, I would say that is a passion of mine too. Technology and computers. I'm a nerd, I'm a geek.
What got you back into the music scene? Was it Jack himself wanting to start the solo band, or you were just itching to get back involved?
Yeah, kind of weird. Turns out an old friend of mine, his name is Al Baca. He goes by Bax Baca now. I was a teacher when I got picked up by Great White. I was actually teaching at a music store, teaching guitar and bass. Al was one of my students. He was like 11 years old, right?
Oh, okay.
He'd come and he would have little cassette tapes of our sessions, and he could hear me just at that time I was just Mr. Harmonic minor Ingve wannabe guy. I'd just be shredding that stuff, and he's just a little kid. He hears a high voice. Hey, Dad, it's hilarious. So I left, and I got picked up by Great White, and I disappeared off the planet for the most part, and didn't really keep in touch. So he actually ended up in the industry as well as a professional. He's a great songwriter. He's a great musician, great producer. He was at the LAX one day, and he saw the Great White guys, and he's like, "Hey, do you guys know where Tony is?" And they heard that I was doing something, and so Al reached out. We got to talking again and hanging out, and he came and worked for my company for a little bit even. And he's like, "Where are your guitars, dude? Where's your stuff? Are you not recording?" I'm like, yeah, I don't do that anymore. He's like, "No, that's bullshit. You should do that." So he got me much more focused into doing that again. And I'll never forgive him for it. Yeah.
You'll never forgive him for it. So it's the student now teaching the teacher, right?
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. Oh, he is the taskmaster too. I mean, he's very much a partner, a writing partner for songs like what you just mentioned, My Shadow and the Thrill songs. You know, he's a producer and co-writer along with Andrew Wesley, and you know, we just go at it and just that's our thing. So we're still working.
And as we were talking off the air, Shadow and the Thrill, that's your band. That's your baby right now. And I listened to Supermodel. I saw a quote that you had mentioned, and I forget where it was off the top of my head, but you had said that is the closest you've ever come to writing a country song.
Yeah, that's kind of that was the notion of it in the beginning is a kind of a story, which to me is like is very country, you know, a story that kind of unfolds throughout the song, and then you know, so yeah, that was you know kind of imagining a young couple struggling, and that's kind of how I went at it. But at the end of the day, and I think I've maybe noted this in other you know interviews and stuff, but it's it's really about any couple, anybody who's you know putting the time in.
That song
Hey,
resonates with that.
What songs from Great White did you enjoy playing the most?
I think my consistent favorites are you know we do Miss the Bone, and then obviously it's I'm partial to it because I'm part writer, you know, of that. But I like the groove of it. I like the that aspect of that track, and we have a lot of fun with that live. And I know that it's been a staple for Jack Russell's Great White. It's been a staple for the other band all these years. Everybody makes you know they feel like they need to play it, which is I think great. A lot of
What,
fun, and we take it. We do a medley in the middle of it, and we just have a ball with it. We've you know we've mashed it up with all different other songs that were similar tempo and just and have fun with that. I
yeah,
love
that
House of Broken Love. I think
Oh,
that was
great
probably
song.
my favorite track off of Twice Shy. And I used to love, you know, when Jack was in good voice in the first couple years when I came back with him. I mean, that's a goosebump moment, you know, in some of those sets because that's a great song. And thankfully I got to transition over to guitar, and I get to play all those wonderful guitar parts that Mark Kendall did, and great respect for him still, you know.
It's great to hear. Now, speaking of Jack, you're carrying on his legacy right now. You went from Great White to Jack Russell's Great White, and now the continuation with Once Bitten.
Right. Yep. We weren't expecting this really. When Andrew Freeman came on board, and we had some contractual, you know, shows that we needed to do, and Andrew jumped on board to do them. It was, you know, when you're 15 and you're playing the Sunset Strip, like I was, like a kid, there's that feeling where you're with your guys, and you're making music, and it's rock and roll, man. It's fun, it's aggressive. There's a feeling of camaraderie, right? And there wasn't a whole lot of that towards you know last several years with Jack. He just didn't have it in him. Andrew came on board, and I felt like I was, you know, 16 years old playing at the Gazzarri's again. It's like, oh wow, this is a rock band. this we're we're kicking ass right now.
Rein
This we're kicking ass. And he's really
Reinvigorated once again.
he's a great singer. So we became really inspired, and we even started, you know, we wrote a track, and that track is I don't know if it's out yet, but we do have a song out with Andrew singing. And we couldn't be happier right now.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to hear that. I am actually
Oh,
going to
it's
search and see.
badass.
Oh, nice.
It's great. It's a lot of fun, actually. I would say that this is a nod to the fun side of Great White. It certainly is, and of the years of old. So yeah, well, we're looking forward to getting that out and having everybody see that, hear that. I think it is actually it's available through the radio servicing apps that service all the stations in the country, and I think it might actually already be out on Spotify or by the time this is maybe released, this interview, I'm sure it'll be out. So go look for it. It's called Rockin' Like the 80s.
Let me just tell you right there, the title alone, it has to be good.
Dude, it's a ball. It's a ball. We started playing it live too, and you know, you're always nervous. It's like something new. Everybody wants to hear all the old hits of course, right? And I was just like, I was thinking, we're gonna play this song. It's gonna be crickets, man, crickets after. But it went over really good. It's fun. Yeah, we're looking forward to that. So please do check it out.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to be chirping about it myself. Just wanted to touch real quick on Ace Frehley. Your thoughts on his passing?
Gosh, I I will say this. I never got to see them in the original configuration play. I've done shows with Kiss, like as an opener, and I never was like one of those like super hardcore Kiss fan kids. I just wasn't. My taste went to other directions, Zeppelin and whatever. But I did see Kiss probably in 2004 or something like that in Vegas at the Palms, and it was the best rocks show I ever saw in my life. That absolutely. And now that wasn't Ace. That was Tommy Thayer. Super nice guy too. I like Tommy. He's very, very nice cat. But it's a testament to what Ace did, those songs, to his melodic guitar playing, which I think is very underrated. He played what was the right thing to play. And there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the all-time greats. We're losing way too many of our childhood heroes right now,
Yeah,
the rock scene.
yeah. Well, we're all hanging in there as long as we can.
Well, that's the truth.
Unfortunately, I'm more of a Peter Criss and Neil Peart, and John Bonham because I'm a drummer.
Oh, okay. I mean, my God, what great music was being made in that era, the 70s. Good Lord.
And Rush is now coming back.
How about that?
Yes.
That's a good thing, man. That's a real good thing.
And I see
Maybe I'll finally get to see them.
Well, they just added 17 shows today. I saw. I haven't looked where yet.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a lot of hard work, and they're older guys. So God bless them for caving in and answering the call, because so many people want to see him, that just truly love that. I'll tell you right now, the first time I ever played, well, not the first time I ever played, the first time I ever played in a band in front of people, the first song we played was Temples of the Syrinx from 2112.
Oh.
That's the first song I learned and played. And how weird, yeah, Temples of the Syrinx. Wow.
Great stuff with those guys. I'll tell you what, we're going to have to wrap this up here shortly, but Tony, hopefully at some point we can reconnect and do another podcast again. And
that'd be awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time. And once again, I hope folks are paying attention to our, Facebook and whatever. The Once Bitten band will be out playing, all over the country as we used to with Jack. My band, Shout on the Thrill. I know that we'll be doing several dates in 2026 as well. And there you go, man. Just trying to stay busy.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy.
He is. He's a very cool guy.
Really down to earth.
He's given us an opportunity as a startup podcast. I cannot go without mentioning Stacy Blades, who joined me last week for a podcast regarding the tribute to Ace Frehley. So these musicians that we grew up with, it's making me even more in love with that genre of music, of hair metal, hard rock. I just cannot say enough. We knew back in that time that This music was great. This music was going to stand the test of time.
And it has.
Absolutely. The greats such as Tony and Stacy, and they're continuing on with new projects. They're experimenting. Tony, right now, when we were off the air, he was telling me a little bit about his band, Shadow and the Thrill. It's more blues infused and experimenting and just branching out. What can you say?
There's bands coming out doing tributes, and most of those people in those tribute bands are younger than the music.
Well, that's kind of like our kids. I know I've raised mine on hair metal, hard rock, and they absolutely dig it. They're into it. I mean, how many concerts have we gone to? My oldest, his first concert, Kiss and Motley Crue opened up for him when Vince Neil could sing, but we won't go there.
I remember that because we were actually texting while in between bands.
Yeah,
Me
yeah,
and you.
absolutely. I remember that too. I'm surprised you did remember.
What are you saying, Joe? I'm old.
We're just gonna let it go with that. So, and my youngest, okay, he wanted his first concert to be Ozzy, but unfortunately that was during COVID, and then that happened, and then Ozzy got sick and never came to fruition. And his first concert ended up being Guns N' Roses.
Oh
Now,
wow.
the funny story about that is the week prior to Guns N' Roses, when they came to Pittsburgh, this had to be like 2 years ago, I would say, their last stop in Pittsburgh. We were at the Pittsburgh Pirates game, and they had a country concert right after the game. And he looked at me and he goes, "Dad, we're leaving." I was like, "Why, bud? Your mom, your brother, they want to stay for the concert." He goes, "They might. I don't. There's no way a country concert is going to be my first concert when I'm seeing Guns N' Roses next week."
My first concert ever, and I'm ashamed to say it, was Paula Abdul
I'm not
at the Civic
surprised.
Arena.
Not
Well,
surprised
I
at
was
that.
dating a girl that loved. I was dating a girl that loved Paula Abdul, and she had an extra ticket, and she said, "You're going with me."
And you actually listened.
I had to. But the thing is, it was her second tour, I think, the Spellbound tour, and I'm telling you what, she put on an amazing show.
Straight up, Ed, tell me, how was the show?
It was great. 2 weeks after that, guess who I seen?
Great White.
No,
Oh, okay.
Metallica.
Well, and then you never look back. I don't know if I should be saying this or not, but I actually went to a pop concert, but it wasn't my choice. My wife tricked me. She told me Leonard Skinner was going to be performing. Yeah, let me just say Fergie does not look like or sound like Leonard Skinner. That's what I wound up going to, was a Fergie solo tour concert. Don't ask me how I didn't look into Leonard Skinner not being there when I'm usually on top of all of this, but hey, shit happens. Lesson learned. Never again. I always make sure who's performing.
My wife, she likes country music, but she actually had me go to the Fayette County Fair with her and her sister April and her husband Rob, and I had to sit through Tracy Bird.
Oh, well, back in my day in the Pittsburgh radio market, I got to meet Tracy Bird. Hell of a guy. The watermelon crawl. I have a picture of myself with Tracy Bird, an old college girlfriend who's not my wife. Oh, the whole, cropping out someone in the photos of the 90s is just ripping that particular portion of the photo off. I have to
Yes.
I have to actually hide that photo from my wife because she will do that if she finds it, and I just want to keep the photo. I don't even want it ruined.
I mean, I didn't get to meet Tracy Bird. I mean, I heard him talking to people, and you can see how he is just like Stacy and Tony, really down to earth. just enjoying it.
Well, Ed, I mean, you have a cover band that you've been in for quite some time now called Mr. Hand. I'm sure you get a
Well,
lot of individuals that come up to you and say how great the rest of the band members are, but not you.
but I mean, if people do come up to me, I thank them for coming and thanking for the compliments. And, that's just the way it should be. I've seen, documentaries and stuff about how some of these rock stars were just total jerks, and I don't get it.
Do we really know if they were jerks or if that's just PR at its best?
I mean, that's true.
Back in the day, let's just take Axl Rose, for instance. He would come late to a lot of shows and this and that. There's no way of really knowing that. There was no video footage back in the day like there is nowadays where, hey, something's like right out there on social media and you're like, oh, wow, I can't believe that about this performer. It is disheartening, but everybody's entitled to a bad day. Well, Ed, we're going to have to wrap today's episode up. We'll be back next week. It's going to be fun. It's going to be sarcastic, informative, you name it. Peace out, everyone. Props for listening.
It's the Gen X marks the spot.